the importance of teaching your parrot to be able to perch. Hi, I'm Kailani, the author of the Parrot Bliss Bond, and in this blissful video, Paloma, our new baby cape, is learning how to perch and not be on a flat floor. So first and foremost, the most important thing is that when a parrot is a baby, they are used to being in a nest. They're made to be in a nest, and their feet need to be flat, a little like her foot is now. In other words, instead of grabbing onto some wood or something like that and their feet being, having to go around the wood, initially their feet need to be flat. That's really important because their feet aren't ready to develop yet, and they aren't ready to do anything other than being flat. Next, when people raise them, they generally put them into a bin because it's like a nest, so that the parrot is safe and sound and they can sleep and grow. Now, that is good. It's important. Being able to cover the bin so that they can still breathe, but they have a nice, quiet, semi-dark place is probably a great thing, because that's what the nest would be like. But when you're raising parrots, you really have to watch and see when it gets to be time to start to do things like put some wood into their box so that their little feet can start to go on it. If you put a stick into their box just on the bottom of the floor, they will start to step on it when they're ready. So Paloma here is, you could see her grasp is pretty strong because, see, look at that. She's playing with it. She's trying. She's balancing because she's still developing the ability to perch. At some point, it'll be completely second nature to her. But right now, she's still young and she's still in a bin or a nesting box. And actually, I have her in a small cage where the bottom is not the usual rails. The bottom is a towel so that it's flat. And I have a box with no bottom in it so that she has a cover, like a little house on top of her, so she feels safe and secure. And it gets changed every time it's dirty. You can imagine that's a lot of towel washing. And there's a stick in there so that she could start to do what she's doing right there with my hands. Just sort of start to practice without it being up at all, so that there's no falling or anything like that. So it's important for a parrot to start to transition and start to develop those muscles. When they stay in a bin for too long, one of the things that can happen is that they can wind up with splayed legs, where their legs start to, let's see if we kind of show you, come out to the side instead of being underneath. See, she's developing well, so she doesn't like it as I pull my hand out. She goes, no, my foot's supposed to be under me. And it is supposed to be under her. If a parrot is left in the box too long, sometimes instead of having two toes pointing forward and two toes pointing back, what'll happen is that their toes won't develop properly, and then they've got three pointing forward. And I'm going to show you an example of that with Kailani, my macaw. The other thing that can happen is if the bin is small and it's, right up next to her, you could see that she's not going to be able to open her wings, and that can hurt the developmental process with their wings. So it's really important to make sure that you follow a parrot's development and you really meet their needs, giving them things that are going to start to allow them to perch just at the bottom of the nest box or the bin that you have them in, or whatever space you have them in. And then when they're ready and they start to perch a little bit on their own, you start to just take the perch up a little bit off the floor, just a little bit, so that they're just, starting to practice. Hey, kitty, get out of here. This is a video on birds, not cats. Get, go. So they can start to practice going up a little higher. But, I've never seen one fall. I'm sure they do. But that way there's just not much of a fall. And as they start to go up higher, you kind of start to see when they start to get ready to have their bottom now be a regular bottom of rails instead of a flat bottom. One way to do it, like I said, is, I cover with a towel so that it's flat, or cardboard, or you could just take the rails out. Now let's look at Kailani. Okay, so here is my macaw, Kailani. She's a Catalina Macaw, and you hopefully can see, do you see this toe right here? Instead of pointing back, it's pointing forward. The vet, when I first got Kailani, she was 6 months old. The vet was like, you know what? We could do a surgery. We could fix it. It's going to be really painful for her, expensive, and there's no point. The other thing is, Kailani is not the flyer that Cami, our second macaw, is. And one reason for that is either her wings were a little funny, or she just didn't get to develop her flying ability. And so we can't say for sure. Good girl. Good girl. Mwah. But it's really likely that Kailani was left in a bin too long, and that's why her toe's pointing forward, and that's why she doesn't really like to fly. If you notice right now, she's shaking a little, and there's no real good reason for it. Why are you shaking? But basically, since she's not a confident flyer, and since her toe kind of points the wrong way, she tends to be less confident in herself. So even though this is her play area during the day, she's acting like, she doesn't know where she is. Kind of funny. What's up? What's up, sweetie? But I tell her that I will take care of her, and it's all good. And then she starts to preen my hair. Thanks, sweetie. Yes, I love you too. I love you too. If you notice, I always try to move slowly with my birds so that they don't have a sudden move, so that they know what's coming, because a predator would jump on them quickly, especially from above. So I always try to go slow and let her relax. Of course, the cat's out here. That might be making her nervous too. So that's a wrap. Make sure that you watch. If you watch your baby bird, you will get a sense of what developmental stage they're at and what they need. And make sure to meet those needs, because it makes all the difference for them in their lives, as far as letting them become a happy, healthy parrot that develops correctly and that can then be confident and have things like their toes pointing in the right directions. If you have any questions about parrots, please be sure to comment below, or contact me on parrotbliss.com or on the Facebook, Instagram Messenger. I hope you are having a wonderful, feathered, and blissful day. Catch you next time.